At a train station in London, Joe, a tired train guard, is finishing his shift. When he reaches his locker, he finds a letter that informs him he didn't get the promotion he applied for. In frustration, Joe crumples the paper and tosses it aside. Just then, his supervisor approaches and asks if he can cover the night shift, as the night guard is sick. Initially, Joe hesitates but reluctantly agrees when he notices Ellen, his crush, will be working as the trolley girl. As the train departs, Joe begins inspecting passengers' tickets, only to face hostility from many of them, even though it's part of his job. Some passengers are kind, but others treat him with disdain. During his rounds, Joe helps an elderly woman pick up her cane, but gets startled by the sudden growl of her dog. Soon after, a passenger named Kate claims she lost her ticket, and when Joe enforces the fine, she gets angry. In another car, Billy is changing into more comfortable clothes. Joe spots a bathroom door with a sign saying "out of order" and notices water leaking from beneath it. When Joe bumps into Ellen and finally works up the courage to ask her out, she gently turns him down, making the situation even more awkward, especially when Paul, another passenger, stares at them. For the next several hours, the train travels peacefully under the rain, with passengers disembarking at each station. As only a few passengers remain, the train reaches a wooded area, where a loud screech echoes through the cars, causing the train to suddenly stop. Joe moves through the cars to investigate and spots a shadow behind a door. He is about to open it when the intercom crackles to life, with the driver, Tony, announcing that something was hit on the track, and passengers should remain calm while they figure it out. Joe opens the door to discover that Ellen's trolley has fallen. As he tries to pick it up, he is startled by Adrian, who picks it up instead. Joe notices two sets of keys on the ground and learns they belong to Adrian. Passengers begin to panic as the minutes drag on, and Joe tries to calm them down. He attempts to contact Tony, but the driver doesn't answer. Instead, Joe uses the intercom to reassure passengers that help is on the way. Meanwhile, Tony exits the train to investigate and discovers they hit a deer, now stuck in the train's wheels. While attempting to remove the deer, Tony is attacked by a mysterious creature who begins mauling him. His blood splatters on the train's windows, but the rain washes it away before anyone can see. As Joe grows more impatient, he uses a set of keys to enter the control car, but finds it empty. He looks outside but sees no sign of Tony. After telling Ellen to keep the passengers calm with some free snacks, Joe makes another attempt to contact the company's rescue team, who inform him they'll arrive in 4 hours due to delays from the storm. This news causes more panic among the passengers, who begin to argue. Adrian suggests they walk to the next station to get help, but Joe argues it's too dangerous, leading to more tension between him and the passengers. In the end, Joe reluctantly agrees to guide them. The passengers step off the train and begin walking in a line beside it, unaware that someone or something is watching them from the woods. As they walk, they hear rustling in the bushes, and Joe and Ellen venture out to investigate. To their horror, they discover Tony's mauled body. They rush back to the train, shouting for everyone to get inside. While the group hurries to board, an elderly couple struggles to keep up. The creature seizes the opportunity and grabs Jenny, shaking her violently before the passengers can pull her back inside. Inside, Ellen tries to tend to Jenny's wound, but the group is rattled. Billy and Matthew shine a flashlight out the window, but they see nothing. After Joe checks the door to make sure it's locked, they hear the creature growling and scratching at the outside. With everyone in fear, the group decides to remain as quiet as possible. Later, Joe enters the control car again, but finds no signal on the train phone. Billy, now with him, notices a fuel leak and the damage it caused to the train's lines. The group realizes that unless they fix it, they'll never get moving again. While they debate what kind of creature is attacking them, Adrian insists it's a bear, but Nina disagrees, suggesting it sounds more human. The situation becomes more tense when they hear noises coming from another car, leading Joe, Billy, and Adrian to investigate. They find that the source of the sound is Paul, who had been trapped in the bathroom since before the crash. After hearing their story, Paul is more concerned about missing his stop than the monster. Time passes, and Jenny's condition worsens. Her fever rises, and her wound appears infected. Meanwhile, Kate comforts Nina, who is scared and homesick. The group hears the creature pounding on the train again, and then it leaps onto the roof. The lights flicker, and just as Nina gets a phone signal, she receives a call from her mother. As she tries to ask for help, the creature bursts through the window, grabbing Nina and dragging her away. Kate tries to help but is pulled back by Matthew, who saves her from being captured as well. The passengers hear Nina's screams as she is mauled on the roof. The group hides in another car, but the guilt of not saving Nina hangs heavy over them. Kate, in particular, struggles with the decision. Tensions rise until Jenny's husband, Ged, demands they work together to survive. They use tools from the train to barricade the car and try to keep calm. As the hours drag on, the passengers grow more despondent. Jenny and Kate bond over the loss of children, with Jenny revealing her difficulty having kids. Adrian, ever the opportunist, reveals to Joe that he has 2 sets of keys. One for his family's home and one for his secret apartment, where he has affairs. He urges Joe to join him in escaping and leaving the weaker passengers behind. Before Joe can respond, Jenny suddenly vomits blood. As the group deals with the chaos, Joe notices that Paul is missing. The barricade has been moved, and Adrian wants to reinforce it. Joe and Billy convince him to give them a moment to search for Paul. Joe eventually finds Paul trapped in the bathroom once again. As he tries to open the door, the creature suddenly attacks from above, mauling Paul. Joe can only watch in horror as Paul dies. When Joe tries to return to the main car, he finds the door blocked by Adrian. Meanwhile, Adrian decides to leave the train to save himself. But when he tries to open the boarding door, he finds it locked. Joe has the keys. Joe struggles to open the door while the monster approaches, and just as he's about to be attacked, the others manage to open it and pull him inside. They barricade the door once again. Despite their efforts, the creature smashes through the barricade, causing Ellen to freeze. Joe quickly pushes her out of the way, but the monster turns on him. Ellen stabs it, but the creature retaliates, sending her flying. In the chaos, the men jump on the creature and fight back, using anything they can find to stab and beat it. Billy is grabbed by the neck and lifted off the ground, but Adrian uses the fire extinguisher to strike the creature, freeing Billy. Matthew then arrives with a fire axe, repeatedly striking the monster until it finally dies. The group inspects the creature and notices a ring on its finger. It looks human, and Matthew speculates it's a werewolf. Adrian recalls that anyone bitten by a werewolf transforms. The group grows paranoid, especially when they realize Jenny was bitten. Suddenly, the creature howls, and Jenny begins to transform. Adrian wants to kill her before the transformation is complete, but Ged stops him. The other passengers hold Adrian back, but in the struggle, Adrian breaks free and tries to choke Jenny. Joe intervenes, knocking Adrian down. The group ties both Adrian and Jenny up with belts, and they form a plan to escape. Billy agrees to fix the train's fuel leak, and Ellen is instructed on how to activate the controls. Joe makes a speech over the intercom, trying to keep everyone's spirits up. Matthew and Billy head outside to make the repairs, but soon, Matthew hears a noise and goes to investigate. He follows Nina's voice into the woods, but is ambushed by werewolves and killed. Inside the train, Jenny fully transforms, and chaos ensues as Adrian fights to escape. He wants to release Jenny, but she breaks free, knocking him down. Just as Jenny begins to attack, the werewolves swarm the train, and the group is forced to fight for survival. The train starts moving again, but when Jenny lunges at Adrian, he is knocked aside. In the chaos, the werewolves attack again. Ellen and Joe rush to the control car, but find themselves surrounded. Joe sacrifices himself to buy Ellen time, and as the train speeds through the night, Ellen escapes, her heart breaking as she leaves Joe behind. As she runs, Ellen clutches Joe's name tag. Meanwhile, Adrian, now alone, stumbles upon some clothes left behind by the others. The werewolves, hearing the howls of their fallen leader, close in on him. As Adrian realizes he is surrounded, A newly transformed Joe emerges from the shadows, ready to finish what he started. The cycle continues, with the forest now echoing with the howls of the newly risen werewolf.